Hi, I'm Kenton, and this is Kenton Knows. Today I've asked my wife Marissa to join me in explaining the process we go through to set up and show our rentals each year. If you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and leave us a comment. Now, we own and manage 8 buildings with a total of 31 apartments. All of the apartments are on one-year leases with expiration spread throughout the summer. I explain how we list our apartments in the when and where to list your apartments for free video. So this video will focus on how we interact with prospective applicants after we have listed the apartments for rent. The vast majority of our leads come in as emails from our online listings. So Marissa, what do you do when you get your first email inquiry for a property?
For sure. So whenever we list a unit, one of the first things that I do is I create a standardized email and text reply that I put in the notes section of my phone so I can just easily copy and paste it. And I email and text it to establish contact with whoever's interested in the unit. And it states the rent, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, when the unit's available, how long the lease is, the move-in fee, the credits, the minimum credit score that we're looking for, our pet policy, amenities that the apartment has, such as an in-unit washer and dryer or parking. And then I just end by saying, let me know if you have any questions and would like to set up a showing. I find that most people prefer texting to set up showings, and that's what I really prefer too. As people tend to be more responsive, it's easier to keep in touch with people that way, but just do whatever works for you. Everyone's different. And once they reply with a time that they'd like, then I reach out to our current tenants in the group text that we set up with them to organize showings. And after they say that time is okay, I confirm with the prospective applicants and put it in our calendar. If I know that a unit's going to be more in demand, then I'm definitely more picky about what times I'll schedule showings. For example, I'll tell people I'm showing the unit on this day between these times and to please try and schedule something within those times. If the unit's getting less traction, then I will definitely let the interested party name their preferred time and date and just try and accommodate them for sure.
I really like that you have a consistent, repeatable process. And I know that reiterating the basic information about the apartment in a text reduces the number of showings where they show up asking if they can have a dog or if they can move in at a different time than the unit's available, even though they do seem to still show up and ask those same questions anyway. It seems like there can be a lot of no-shows for rental showings. So do you do anything to attempt to reduce the number of no-shows at your showings?
I absolutely do, for sure. I'm not a fan of no-shows, and no one likes having their time wasted, but stuff happens, especially with rentals. So to prevent no-shows, the day before a showing, I always text the prospective applicant just a reminder text to confirm our showing. If I get a sense that they aren't being responsive or they seem a bit disorganized, I'll definitely follow up the next morning. And if I haven't heard from them at all by that point, then I will definitely reach out and try and call them, or I'll make Kenton call them because I hate making phone calls. That's why I do everything via text, but ultimately we don't go to the property unless we have a confirmation.
That really makes a lot of sense, and it sounds like reconfirming is a great way to ensure you aren't wasting your time waiting for a no-show. Then, what exactly do you do when you meet the prospect at the property?
Sure. So first off, I always get to the unit early to say hi to the current tenants and turn on any lights, do a little light staging to put toilet seats down or put the blinds up to make sure that the unit looks as good as I can make it. And then I greet the prospective applicants outside, and at this point I just reiterate some quick details about the apartment they're seeing, because a lot of times they're seeing a lot of places on one day. So how many beds it is, the month it's available, the rent. At this point, I tell them that my husband and I own and manage the building ourselves, so they know that I'm not just an agent who's been hired by management to do the showing, but that we are the people that they'll be dealing with day in and day out. And then by that point, hopefully I'm in the unit and it's time to do the showing and let people take their time looking around. I try and point out anything that's newer or when things were renovated, bonuses we have like big closets or dishwashers or in-unit hot water heaters, bike storage, parking, and I can also answer questions that they have about utilities and cable and internet. I try not to oversell the unit, as different people are looking for different things, and I find that it's best not to be pushy. And I also personally think having a sort of confidence in your unit, that you know it's at a fair price, that you know it will get rented, is a really good attitude to have. So when they're done looking, this is when I give them my business card and again, ask if they have any questions, show them that our website's listed on my card, and then I can explain the application process, and now I can also direct them to YouTube, to Kenton Knows, which is awesome, so they can get all that information there. I also make sure to state that we will clean and touch up the apartment before they move in. Depending on the state that the unit's in, if an apartment's in worse shape than we would like due to the current tenants, I make sure to reiterate this point out of earshot from the current tenants. So I'll just, once outside, I'll say that I understand the state of the unit isn't ideal and that we absolutely will be sure to address this before their move-in date. Also, if we have multiple showings, which we do a lot when we first list a unit, and we have a lot of requests, I book them 15 minutes apart to make sure that I have some buffer time for anyone who's early or late.
I really like how you have the script you can just run through for each showing. Based on your years of experience, do you have any other tips you could provide to other owners or managers showing their apartments?
Absolutely. So first off, I just really try and be kind and enthusiastic and personable. When I show a unit, I'm very aware that I'm representing our company and the kind of landlords that we are, and I definitely try and connect with some small talk as well, where they're currently living, if they know this area well, my favorite places nearby. If it's younger people, then I tend to have a more casual demeanor, and if I can tell it's people who are a bit more serious or anxious about finding the right place, I might take on a more professional demeanor. It's a bit about just reading people and then actually doing showings to get a feel for it. And I also try and sell the intangibles, which in our case are the fact that we are a small business. We're not a big management company. It's Kenton and I who will be handling everything, that we're really responsive to any issues, and that we have a maintenance person who's in one of our buildings to assist with issues and lockouts. And also I might joke about how my husband is Kenton Knows of Kenton Knows YouTube now, so he really does know how to fix or deal with almost anything, and I do try and tell them that just to put them at ease, that he's been doing this for like over 20 years and they're in really good hands. Also, people will often ask if they can get the unit at a lower rent, and I don't take offense to this question at all, as I know people are just trying to find the best deal. And depending on how the showings are going for that particular unit, I'll either say the truth that we have a lot of interest, we just listed it and we have a few months to get it rented and we feel it's the right price, or if that's not the case, which happens, and we're having trouble renting the unit, or know that historically it's a more difficult unit to rent, then I might entertain their offer and tell them that I'll discuss it with Kenton and follow back up. This is also a good time to say that if you don't know the answer to a question, which happens, I've gotten some difficult questions for sure, just tell them you'll get back to them with the answer. It's better to have the right information, and it again gives me an excuse to follow up with them.
I really like how you emphasize our strengths, and it sounds like you recommend following up with people after showings.
I absolutely do recommend following up with people after showings, preferably later that day or the next morning, just with a simple text, "So nice to meet you. Let me know if you have any questions about the unit," just to continue keeping that line of communication open, especially if they're considering applying or they've expressed interest in the unit. I found that people can be surprisingly slow with applying sometimes, so we do just, again, stay actively in touch with people, and when they're taking a little bit of time to apply, I remind them with a friendly text here and there that we are continuing to show the unit and that it's not rented until we received a signed lease and their money, and continue then to just ask if they have any questions we can address to help move the process along.
That sounds like a very thorough process. Is there anything you can do to change it up if you feel you aren't getting enough showings or people don't seem to be very interested in the rental?
Right, and that definitely happens, and the answer is really easy. All we have to do is drop the price. While it might hurt a little bit and we might want to be stubborn and just try and get that price that we want, it's going to be much easier to drop the price, just get the unit rented before the current tenants move out. It's better than having the unit sit empty for a month and losing that entire month's rent. So really, just drop the price.
I definitely agree. If you can drop the price by less than 8.3%, you are better off dropping it and renting it rather than having it sit vacant for a month. So, what if someone asks you to hold the property for them, or asks if they can put down a deposit to hold it?
Well, I do accept bribes. I just don't tell you about it. But no, our policy is that we continue showing the apartment and we will continue accepting applications until a tenant has signed the lease and sent in both the move-in fee and the first month's rent. We've never deviated from this policy, and we don't see a reason to.
That all sounds like great advice for a standard and repeatable process. Thank you so much for sharing how we handle the showing process with our apartments. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and picked up a few helpful tips along the way. If you'd like to hear more from me, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell. Please like the video and leave me any comments about this topic or anything else real estate related. Thank you for watching Kenton Knows.
Thank you for watching Kenton Knows.